Lesson 4 out of the review chapter, solving inequalities. Remember, inequalities are those greater than, less than signs, right? Greater than, less than, and then the or equal to versions, right? With that line underneath, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So inequalities can be solved just like equalities with one exception. If you multiply or divide across the equal sign by a negative, any negative, you must flip or change the direction of the inequality. Right, so we'll look at that, but that's the main difference between solving an equation and solving inequality. If in the course of solving you multiply or divide across the equal sign, or the inequality sign, sorry, not an equal sign, by a negative number, you must flip the direction of that inequality. So it's not going to happen every single time, but you have to be on the lookout for that. Right, so solving 4y minus 3 is less than 5y plus 2. Right, so I want to get y alone on one side of the inequality. And helps if the inequality, the y is alone on the left side, right? So I want everything that is y pushed to the left, right? So I am going to subtract across this 5y. Now, that doesn't constitute having to flip because it's add or subtract, right? So I get negative y minus 3 less than 2. So now I am going to add across this 3. You get negative y less than 5. Because 2 plus 3 is 5. Now, I don't have y by itself, so I am going to divide away this negative by dividing across a negative 1. Now that does qualify in that rule that we just talked about. If we multiply or divide across the inequality by a negative, which we just did, we are going to flip the sign. Right? So y has to be greater than negative 5. If I chose to solve it the other way, if I chose to subtract across the 4y, I would have ended up with negative 5 is less than y. Okay? If I would have moved this over first, okay, then I don't have my y on the left side. So what I'm going to do there is basically flip it all over anyhow, right? This would have flipped over to this, which is what we ended up with here. Okay? I always like to do the same attack strategy all the time. So when I have an inequality, I move variables to the left side. We are asked to then graph the solution set on a number line. We weren't provided a number line here, so we're going to sketch out our own. Right? Put some arrows on both sides. Ultimately, all I need on that number line is this negative 5. Okay, so this would be negative 4, negative 3. This would be negative 6, negative 7. Now, I'm going to put an open circle because it is y is greater than. And it's greater than, so it's to the bigger side. Some people put it right here. They put it on. Doing that, you need to make sure that you can denote it a different way. Right? So y is greater than the negative 5. 12, greater than or equal to negative 0.3p. So I am going to divide away this negative 0.3. Right? Dividing away negative 0.3 from both sides. That's going to leave me with P alone over here. Now, I divided across by a negative, so I have to flip my sign. Right? I flipped the direction of the sign. It was opening to the left, now it's opening to the right. It was 12 is greater than or equal to, now it's going to be the value less than or equal to. Okay? If you need to, use your graphing calculator to do that division. Okay? 12 divided by negative 0.3. Okay? Negative 40. So negative 40 less than or equal to P. So P is going to be greater than or equal to negative 40. Right? I can just basically pick this whole thing up and flip it over. P moves over, the sign flips, negative 40 moves over here. So to graph that up, I need the negative 40 on the number line. I need some other numbers. Right, so I got to go negative 39 over here, negative 41, and P greater than or equal to. So now I color in that circle to include the negative 40 as a result. Example 3, negative x greater than the quantity x minus 7 over 2. We got a lot going on here. We're going to just work to get x by itself. First thing I need to do is I need to get rid of the denominator here. So I am going to multiply both sides here by 2. That gives me negative 2x greater than x minus 7. Okay, now I am going to subtract this x across. I get negative 3x is greater than negative 7. So I'm going to divide away the negative 3. And I used both of the Q's there. I'm dividing and it's negative, so I am going to flip my sign. Okay, x is less than 7/3. Now, we didn't end with a nice clean whole number. 7/3 is going to be, what, 2 1/3. To graph this, we're going to do this very simply. I'm going to put 7/3 on my number line, and I'm going to say x is less than that value. Okay? I'm not going to work on the decimals. I'm not even going to fill in other values. I could say that this is 8/3, right? This is 6/3, it would be 2. But I graphed it using that open circle, and it's going to the arrow is going to the left, right? If you have your variable on the left side, the direction that your line goes is the same direction that your inequality points. So this is pointing left, so my line goes to the left. Right up here on the previous problem, my inequality was pointing to the right. My line goes to the right. So that should get you started with assignment 0.4 that you will need to complete and submit.